Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techpeeps Diaspora. Our guest on the show today is Richard Briandt. He's a tech entrepreneur who has made a lot of impact in the African tech ecosystem. He has mentored a lot of upcoming young tech professionals in Africa, like myself, and he's also very well known as someone who established a talent pool of upcoming software developers in Ghana for the past 3 to 5 years, which is also now being extended to other parts of Africa as well. Richard, I'm very happy to have you on the show today.
Yeah, hello, Zach. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
So, Richard, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background and how you started your journey until this point?
My name is Richard Briandt, and I'm the founder and CEO of Codetrain. And what Codetrain does is simply to train professional software developers and then find ways that they can start a career. So we match a lot of our developers that graduate our program to companies to start their careers. And the main aim is to unlock the potential of people here in Ghana and in other African countries, especially in West Africa, because they have a lot of potential. They are smart, just like anybody else. However, they have limitations when it comes to opportunities and a world-class training, the kind of training that can actually make them compete globally with anybody else in the world. Yeah, so we try to get them to compete globally, give them the right skills, the right work ethic, to be able to be as good as anybody else. Yeah, so basically, brief like introduction of myself. With my background, I basically did my undergrad in mathematics, and then I went into tech um, at the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology. For 2 years, I studied how to become a tech entrepreneur, which I am now. We basically studied how to build, how to code, how to build apps, how to pitch to investors, and how to start a startup. And then after that, I got the opportunity to go to a very big accelerator in Santiago de Chile in South America for an 8 month training program and tech accelerator program. And during that time, I learned a lot of other skills to advance my knowledge and my experience as well. But while I was there, anytime people wanted to hire developers, they always, or anytime people want to do something extraordinary or they wanted to start a startup or a company, they always wanted a software developer. And I realized that there are not many people, there's a shortage of software developers and people that can do things. But at the same time, there isn't a shortage of smart people back home. So when I came back home, I, started helping a group of young people to be able to, enter into the space and also become software developers and also, be able to fulfill their potential. And that eventually turned into Codetrain.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think I'm very familiar with what Codetrain does because also like someone that came through Codetrain, and maybe for people that do not know, can you tell us a bit more about the Codetrain program itself, and maybe for upcoming software developers how they can benefit from such a program?
Um, so, so Codetrain is basically a coding bootcamp. It's a 1 year program, and then after the 1 year training program, we follow up with a 3 months career service program during which we help our students to actually learn how to do interviews. We introduce them to companies and we assist them to get jobs or internships. The main thing, that we try to do in addition to that is to run it in a way that the students don't feel like they're in a classroom, but then they feel like they are working in a startup. So that they can actually easily transition to the world of work. Um, One thing that is also very important that we also do is to get them to think globally, to get them to think, have a global mindset, to get them to learn and work with very good work ethic, and also to have very good values as well. We work on those as well to make sure that they are world class. And so far, it's been great. 89% of our students actually, found jobs in the first 9 months after graduation. 80% of them found jobs in the first 6 months. 31% of them found jobs even before they graduated. And it's been amazing. We've trained over 500 developers, and we are hoping to expand the program to include other courses as well. But as it stands now, we've been able to create the program such that anybody from any background can be able to start a career in tech. And there is a high shortage of software developers globally. There's a very big demand which is not being filled. And Africa has the biggest youth population, and even that is supposed to double by 2050. So there's a need to create very good training programs, and that has very, very good outcomes when it comes to careers and employment. And so far, we've been able to help so many young people here in Ghana to start careers in tech. And we've also had, every time we get students from other African countries that also benefit from our program. We have a virtual program as well. So people sitting, even we have a student in France. We have a student in Qatar that just like joined the program, and they do really well. We also, for those in Ghana, we have a weekend class and a weekday class for the in-person bits. And it's been great so far. The thing I like about the whole thing is it's we are creating a new way of education here, that is based on like respect. It's based on good values. It's based on responsibility, and it's based on what young people want. Because most other programs are actually designed by people, older people, for the youth. And the youth really do not relate to it well because they have a different mindsets. But Codetrain is a program that is actually designed by young people and run by young people, and even the students also become co-creators, and they keep giving feedback on the program, so that it meets their expectations. And also to employers also give their feedback with the students that we have. So I believe that the approach we've taken could actually become a new way of education in Africa, and we can, if we are successful with that, it could actually answer the question of how we can unlock people's potential, and not just get them to survive, but get them to actually fulfill their potential. I mean, in Africa.
Mm. It's interesting, when you spoke about, the fact that most graduates from Codetrain were able to easily, find employment or get jobs. And in Africa or especially in Ghana, you hear so much about like the high unemployment rates. You have so many like university graduates who are still unable to find jobs. And sometimes for me, like um, wonder if, I know that there are a lot of like opportunities in tech, and sometimes I wonder why people are not taking advantage of this, these opportunities. What do you think, is the cause of, like there's so much unemployment rate, and yet still there are so many opportunities in tech, and people are not taking advantage of this? Do you think that it's because maybe at least for software development, people think that it's something which is really difficult and they can't do it, or maybe people are just not aware of these opportunities out there?
I just think that there isn't enough information out there, because even myself, before I went into tech, I mean, everybody thinks that it is for people that do. I mean, people still have the mindset here that, people, what you study in school is what you do, the kind of work that you do, or the kind of area that you go to. And um, so I feel that everything starts from the education system. In terms of careers, what most people know or what is out there is actually far from reality, in terms of careers. And it's also based on the way our education is structured, where right from high school, someone chooses to do business, and they have to do accounting and other courses, and they feel that they want to become an accountant. Um, so, and you wait till you get to the university to choose computer science or computer engineering so that you become a software developer. So then the person that did accounting or did business or did arts or visual arts would think that it is off their limits. It's not something for them. But enough awareness should be created that the tech industry, you know, doesn't isn't really only limited to people that do those courses, but people from different backgrounds could actually start and actually succeed. And a lot of people that are in tech didn't have that background. I think Elon Musk has a degree in physics also. Most of them don't have that. Some of them don't even go to college. So we've had high school students that right after Codetrain's program, they shoot their careers with local and international companies, and some of them have even been promoted into senior roles and senior developer roles. We even have a student that is still in junior high school, and he's actually working on a project to connect investors with startups, and he's even almost done with the app, and he could even become a tech entrepreneur at that age, or could join like a high growth startup, at any moment. So there isn't much information around that, and it's something that we strive to do at Codetrain, and we do lots of bootcamps in universities to educate people about this. And we try to hold other sessions and workshops in schools, and just try to spread the word, so that they can get this opportunity. They can. And then the next reason why they are not taking advantages, I think it's simply the belief in that they can actually succeed. And once again, the system is not built here in such a way that one thing that is missing in the training of young people here is to make them believe in themselves, and to make them have the ability to actually sit down and plan and create roadmaps for themselves and solve problems. And the tech industry is purely by merit most of the time, and it's not based on people getting certificates and being entitled to or people being entitled to things, but it doesn't really discriminate. It's everything is based on merit. So it's very difficult for people that come from backgrounds where they are being asked to write exams to get a piece of paper so that they can merit something. Now have to go into this industry where they have to work for everything. It becomes a little bit more difficult. But and once I think once again we need to create in the minds of young people to believe in themselves so that they can actually firstly feel confident to pursue whatever they want to pursue. It's not only tech, but they should feel that they should be able to succeed in whatever they want to, any area of or any endeavor that they choose to carry out.
I know that currently, Codetrain trains several developers, like mainly software developers.
Yeah.
I mean, for people that are not really familiar with what opportunities there are in the tech space, are there any like other roles in the tech space that people can explore apart from just being like a software developer, or for someone that doesn't want to be like a programmer or a software developer, are there any
Yeah.
other roles they can explore?
Yeah, so I think once again it's we need to create we need to like create a lot of awareness. So um the tech space alone has so many career paths. And I once again, when you talk to most young people in high school, and even the universities, like it's quite surprising that up to now, the only careers they know is the traditional ones that has always been the doctor, lawyer, engineer. They still say those same things. But there are, in the tech industry alone, there are so many careers. There are so many new careers in um, 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 like digital jobs, or digital careers in today's world. And one great thing is that there is always new even roles coming up, like new roles coming up. I mean, according to the World Economic Forum, so many of the old, careers and roles are even going to fade out, making way for so many like roles in digital. And I think over 97 million jobs are being created in that process. And there are other roles, you have like DevOps engineers, you have normal software engineer, front end engineer, or like back end engineer, and then you have like a UI person that designs the app, how it's going to look like before it's actually built. It's also a very good career to pursue. You have people that test apps, like app testers too. And they test apps and ask feedback from customers, and they kind of like validate like ideas and like the apps and get feedback. You have people that are business analysts that talk to um, they kind of like talk to clients, and also like talk to management about new products and services being built, and try to make sure that the requirements are well done. There are data analysts as well. You have like big data specialists, and then you have like digital marketing people, and strategy and specialists. You have um, security, people that are just doing cyber security and security things to make sure that like there is security. I mean, basic designers like animators. You have like people that just create content, because once you build an app, and every company now, and the interesting thing is these roles are not only limited to the tech industry now, because every bank is a little bit like every bank is a tech company now. They all have apps, they all have tech products. Um, every organization, even NGOs, schools, hospitals, banks, you know, all these organizations actually need these people, to be able to run effectively. So yeah, there is so much. I mean, um, so it's not only limited to people that code, but there are so many roles that does not require coding, but it requires you to be in tune with what is happening, what the industry is, and everything. And there are people that just specialize in building like online ads, and even offline like normal TV ads and for tech companies. We have like creatives too. There's the investment side too. People that go into like tech investment and they work in investment firms, and they specialize in like software as a service, or like funding like scalable startups. And then you have um, you know organizations that facilitate the whole industry, like hubs, incubators, accelerators, and some of them even work on policy. you know so for instance, now there's a team in Ghana right now, in collaboration with the GIZ, working on Ghana's tech policy, for instance. And then there are so many incubators and hubs that actually provide office space and the right environment for tech people. And so people can enter into the tech industry and work with such hubs. Some of them hold training programs. They need people to run operations. They need people to like help the startups and the companies. And so there is so much happening in the space now. Like, you see, even in finance, there is fintech, and where like a lot of finance guys, startups, banks, everybody is involved in like in this space, trying to make solve problems like with finance. There is agri tech as well. There's also even the people that move things around. Those mobility companies, and companies that provide infrastructure, and people that have experience um, um, in such things could also go into them, because most of the tech industry moves on the infrastructure those services create, such as food delivery services, you know services that has to do with like moving goods and moving things around the supply chain, shops, like so many things. And even now events also, it's also in it. There's so, I think after COVID, all events were held online. You have like, so it's a whole industry now. So yes, it's not, the coding part is just a small part, but there is something for everyone, and the industry actually needs people that are actually good at something. you know and sometimes people ask me that, where what is the best thing to do, like what is the hot cake. But I mean, the best answer to that is, don't look at going into something which like sounds like, hey, if I go here, I'm going to get a job, or I'm going to get opportunities. The industry and the whole world needs people that are very good at what they do. So think about how you can follow your own curiosity to become the master in whatever your interest is, right? People will pay you for your value, because people are always looking for such people and are very good at something, right? So you can look at something in the industry that you feel you can do very well, and to you it's not work, but to you it is play, and you can really unlock that potential, and people will start paying you not based on what you can do, but based on your judgment, because your judgment can provide so much value. So yeah, so I would advise people to just look at, not even though there's so much opportunities, not try to outsmart themselves by looking at what is hot cake or what, but they should rather think about it from their angle, how to optimize their strengths. Besides, in the tech industry, people work in teams, and teams are created with all these elements, so there isn't something that that is, you could say, is in hot demand or not, because there is it's people work in teams, and all angles are drawn into teams and to achieve objectives.
That's really interesting. One other thing that I'm curious about is you've trained lots of software engineers. I mean through Codetrain's program, and also as someone who's been very active in the African tech scene, you've seen a lot of like engineers start their careers and stuff. What would you say, like let's say for someone that's just getting started, what are the main things that separate people who become successful from the ones who don't?
Reliability. Just be reliable. I just think that, yeah, you just should be reliable. And you can divide it into little or smaller chunks. I mean, the first chunk is that whatever you want to achieve, start by. So, for instance, if you want to become a digital marketer and a content strategist, right, for companies, assume that you are already a digital marketer and a content strategist. Assume that you've already achieved your goal, right? So what is left is for you to just be accountable to yourself. So you set roadmaps, and you set plans, and you set objectives, and you set milestones, and you just achieve those milestones. Because if you are not if you can't you can't be accountable to yourself. It's hard, to be accountable to people. So yeah, so firstly be reliable. But how to break that down is, firstly, try to be accountable to yourself, and then secondly, that is when you are learning. But then when you start your career with people and with companies, you just try to be reliable. Just be reliable, and be accountable. And be as honest as possible. You can't be perfect, but when you are reliable, people trust you. I think that's the single most important thing. And all the people that I've known that have succeeded, they are just reliable. They get things done. And even the weakest person that is reliable is better than the most talented person that is not reliable. Because in the world of work, people, companies, or CEOs and management need people to get things done. And most of the time, nobody cares, the level at which it's done, but they want it to be done, to make sure that it makes sense, and they need reliable people to get it done. And over time, these reliable people become specialists, and they hit like very, very high levels in their work. But if I have a board meeting next week, and I need something done, I just need it done, yeah, so having reliable people is for me the most important thing. It's not based on talent or how good someone is, because with that you can teach, and with that, with experience, you become good. But being reliable is it's something that draws from the person itself. So it's very hard to do business with people that are not reliable.
I wasn't expecting the answer, but um, yeah, myself, I see how important like that is. So, what's your like happiest moment at Codetrain? Like, I imagine how challenging it is running something like Codetrain, but are there any like happy moments that you always look back on it and it keeps you going and you want to continue doing what you do?
I think my happiest moment was when our first students got a job, and that was I mean, it's still, that feeling was the best feeling, even up to now. And it meant a lot, because I mean, if one person could actually be trained by us, and get the interest of a company to give them like an opportunity. It means that we can multiply it by, let's say, 100, or we can multiply it by 1,000. We can make the same impact, 2,000, 3,000. So that actually opened the gateway to everything else that happened.
I think that's all the time we have, but
Nice, nice.
I like for people that have listened to this and they want to get started on their tech journey, especially for people that want to become software engineers. Like, how do they start? Like, how can they benefit from like Codetrain if they want to join?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, like, when you want to start, uh, something, it is always good to be like in a very good supportive community, because it can be very lonely, journey, and it's important that they also join a structured program. So yeah, so we provide that. So we provide a structured program. We also provide like the community. The interesting thing is now most of our alumni are doing well. Some of them are contributing to the African ecosystem, the American ecosystem, the Canadian, the German, European ecosystems. So we have most of them getting lots of experiences, and it's also a great network to also be in. And I mean, to get started, they can just, we do admissions 3 times in a year. We run a 1 year bootcamp in software engineering, where we do everything. We do front end, back end, and mobile as well. We are starting UX and UI. We've started that now, and our next admissions is in September. The next one is in January, and then the next one is in May. We admit 3 times in a year. So all that they have to do is to go to codetrain.africa and just apply. And then our admissions team is going to reach out to them. We have some part scholarships and financial aid as well, and they can apply to that as well. But then they should put in like their active phone numbers and emails, and our admissions team is going to set up a call with them to onboard them in the process to start. And then after a year, and then after a year, we have the way the program works is after the year, they have to pass a technical interview, and get some minimum, do a few minimum things in order to get into our career program. And so far, the last group that did it, like all of them got into it. It's called a Magic program, and it's a 3 months program. After which, they are going to demonstrate the apps they've built at Codetrain to an audience of employers, which we call the demo day. Yeah, so I think it's exciting if they join now. I mean, in a year's time, they'll be presented to local and international employers. And I mean, that part is the fun part. We can have fun at that age, at that time. But for now, they just need to be able to have the confidence to feel that yeah, it's something that, I mean, once they put in the work, they are going to get something good out of it.
Thanks a lot for your time and agreeing to be on the show. It was like I learned a lot of things. And maybe in the future we'll be happy to have you again to talk about maybe some specific stuff, more interesting stuff. But once again,
Sure,
like
sure,
thanks a
sure. I'll
lot.
be happy to come on. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks too.